Slay the Spire. I really like this game. It really fires in a couple key areas that I think make it really special. First off, it's a single player card game, and there's not many of those around. Usually you always have the added pressure of fighting against an opponent, feeling really great because you outsmarted them or straight up got luckier than they did. Or alternatively feeling terrible because you didn't think of the obvious play, or the fact that I had lethal and I forgot. In Slay, that extra pressure is gone. It's just relaxing. You sit there and just play optimally if you can, or really only have yourself to blame and a little bit of RNG if things go poorly. And even when they do, so what? You just start another run. I guess we should talk about how the game works. So, Slay the Spire is a single player deck building game. You start with one of 3 characters who all have a different starting deck with basic cards and different potential cards that you can pick up as you clear floors. You make your way up through the floors of the Spire, facing off against enemies, opening random rooms, going to shops, and occasionally resting at a campsite. You plan your route as you ascend towards the end of the current level, where you fight the boss. The whole time, fighting your way up, you use defensive cards to protect yourself, and offensive cards to beat your enemies, preserving your own health to continue on. You get a new card at the end of every fight, and you can choose to not take cards if they don't work with the deck that you're building, and you can even remove cards at shops and other rooms as you make your way up. This allows players to construct a lean deck out of the cards that they've drafted along the way. If you lose all of your health, then it's game over, and you start from the beginning. If you beat the 3rd boss in the 3rd area, you beat the game. You're then invited to ascend, and continue to beat the game over and over at a higher and higher difficulty. I know that doesn't sound like the best, but in practice, it's more than the sum of its parts. It's actually quite fun. You can choose to play all the different characters, or just kind of focus on the one that feels best to you. As you can see from the gameplay, my favorite is the Silent, whose moves focus on building up block, not allowing your enemies to do much damage to you, and having explosive turns where you just play 10 plus Shiv cards in a single turn. Or, alternatively, applying poison to kill your enemy over time while you just turtle it out. On top of the tight TCG-inspired gameplay, there were a few intangible qualities that I really like. First off, they really nailed the mechanics of your cards going off. You can sort of plan out your turn, looking at your hand, and then just quickly execute, knowing that nothing slows you down as you block, get 2 cards, make 3 attacks in a quick succession. It just feels very satisfying to just quickly smash out your turn and then hit the pass button. The relics feel really powerful. I always feel very excited when I open up a box to find what relic I'm going to get. And the decision making on the floor tree really lets you play around with risk management as you decide whether or not to take on an elite even though you're low health because you need more relics, or do you just simply camp out this round and continue on with higher health. So, the downsides. Some of the enemy design is boring, and if you've played the game enough, they start to get a little bit stale. It seems like you always get the boss that is your worst matchup, but hey, maybe that's just me being biased remembering the tougher fights. And lastly, math. You have to do some math sometimes, but luckily it's just simple multiplication, so there's that, and hey, if I can do it, you can too. Now on the positive side, the drafting and the floor choices allow you to think very strategically. The character decks play very differently from each other, and between the 3, I feel like you'll find something that speaks to you personally and what you enjoy to play. It's easy to pick up and play, but to master the game and hit higher ascension levels gives you something to keep working for. And it doesn't force you to finish your runs. You can come and go. You can turn off the game and start right back up where you left off. It's really awesome. If this sounds like something that you might be into, I'd say to check it out. I'd give this one an 8 out of 10 confused sneckos. Hey you, thanks for watching this. I really appreciate it. Know what else I'd appreciate you doing? All the stuff that it's so cringy to ask for, like subbing, hitting the like button, but hey, still, I asked, didn't I? So you should at least play with the concept of hitting those buttons, right? If you like this video, go check on the others that we've made, you might like those too. And if you find that your favorite game hasn't been reviewed yet, hit me with a suggestion in the comments. Until next time, Greybeard out.